It's been a minute. It's been a for real minute. Top of the evening, my amigos in the law. It's been a while since I've gone live on all my platforms. And here we are, live on most of the platforms. So, what's up? How's everyone feeling? How's everybody's aura doing? How's your aura? That's what I want to know. Tell me about your aura. Don't tell me the color. Tell me what your aura is currently doing. Mine is like undulating right now. I'm in the undulation phase of my aura. And I remember I had something specific that I wanted to do on this live, and that was to brush my hair. As a father, my hair spends a lot of time in a bun. And so I'm going to brush my glorious hair. And also, while we're here, we're going to talk about human design. We're going to talk about the heresy that is sensory design, which is basically saying human design is cool, but have you ever practiced ungluing your eyes from your head, and instead of treating your head and ajna like shapes in a game of hopscotch, like actually building a relationship with pressure and awareness. So anyway, how do I figure out what my aura is doing? The same thing is like you can figure out what your hand is doing by looking at it. You perceive it, right? Your energy is something that you can perceive, but you have to be trained to perceive it, right? Like think about someone that does like wine tasting. They train their sense of taste, their sense of smell on wine so that they can tell, oh yes, this wine is excellent from the hills of Sicily in 1926 Cabernet Sauvignon, right? So you have to train yourself, and most people stop when it comes to auras. They stop at like the color of the aura, or they go into these very abstract sort of like past live things, which I don't think it's BS. I just think it's more effective, more helpful to really perceive the aura, not necessarily in a, oh, this is your past life, or this is your future, or this is the color of your aura. It's more so about recognizing the constitution, the dynamic, the mechanic, right? Like what is happening with the aura? How is it a reflection or an emanation or a container and a foundation for your physical form? So it's really about the physical form. How do I survive a breakup? Good question. However you can. Like, this is an interesting thing, right? It's like, how do you survive a relationship? However you can, right? Like, there's no one way to do relationships. There's no one way to do breakups. Something that is, I would say, very important in terms of going through breakups, though, is to spend time being single. Like, distracting yourself with other partners, especially in like when you're in altered states, is really not a good idea. Distractions in general, right, after coming out of a breakup, are sort of like, there's all that energy there, there's all that doubt, there's all that confusion. And when you learn how to actually use doubt and confusion, and here's the way you use doubt and confusion, because I'm not going to talk in just like theoretical terms. Here's how you use doubt and confusion. Now, those are examples of building a relationship with pressure. Doubt and confusion are pressure. Confusion is pressure from the past to figure it out, and doubt is pressure from the future to figure it out. Regardless of what you're experiencing, whether it's grief, sadness, why did this happen, what's gonna happen, am I ever gonna find someone to love again, one of the things that you really ought to be doing is building a relationship with pressure through your nose, plugging and pushing, like trying to breathe out, plugging and sucking in like a vacuum, and then in the cheeks. This is what we train people on in our community. because spirituality is way too abstract for most people and just in general. And at the end of the day, spirituality on a physical level is very, very simple. You just have to spend time with it, the same way that you would spend time with a partner or a relationship. But anyway, what's up, guys? Discussing human design and aura perception. Oh, that's the that's weird. I haven't been on TikTok in a while. It's been a minute. Yeah, if anyone has any more questions, feel free to fire them over. What does a silver jagged aura mean? I think, again, when it comes to colors, right? Like silver means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I would say the jagged is more interesting than the color of it. Jagged aura typically means that there's a lot of sort of like erratic movements going on. Like you would probably see a very like jagged or rough aura on somebody that is has a lot of addictions, or what people would call ADD, or the inability to focus, I guess you could say, is what a lot of like jagged aura is. It also could be very it could come from someone who is on none of those things and is just very sporadic in their own lives, like drawn in many directions at the same time. Yeah. And you don't want to, like, it's more important to feel, like, for instance, is your aura hot or cold? That's something that I'm more interested in than the color of it, right? Because there's senses that are stronger than the visuals, right? Which is, smell is one of them. What does your aura smell like? And these are things that, again, you can look at something and you can convince yourself, oh, that looks good. But then when you smell it and it smells good, there's like no convincing you otherwise. That's for me at least. Where do you find these auras? So auras are typically, right? The original term aura actually is in reference to like a breeze or like a breath of fresh air, something like that. It's a refreshing energy, right? And so when you're looking for an aura, again, it's an extrasensory perception. It's not something that you are going to, how you say, there's a lot of layers to it. You have to train yourself. And one of the things that we do in our community, in our school, is we train people to perceive their aura from the inside. Most people are looking for somebody else to tell them, what does my aura look like? What does this mean? But your aura, as an extension of your body, or a housing, like a container for your body, it's very important to be able to see your aura from the inside, or to experience or to smell your aura from the inside, right? And this is because there's already so much external information about your aura and what colors are meaning, and this is how people get taken advantage of in the spiritual world, right? You go to somebody that you perceive as more spiritual than you, and you pay them money, and they do something with you, which typically works because generally speaking they're co-regulating with you, right? Like they're calm and peaceful and spiritual. Cool, that's helping you, but it's not necessarily how you say, some magic power or something that makes them different than you. It's just the fact that they've spent more time cultivating that peace and calm, which if you spend time with those people, typically you will do that. But again, it's about your relationship with your own body, not and how your body relates to others by way of that relationship, and that's the most important thing. Can auras change? Yes and no, right? First step to look into your own aura: unglue your eyes from the sympathetic state. That's the right question to ask, Chase. Well done. Unglue your eyes from this, okay? Take the blinders off. Best way to do that, one of the first exercises that we show people in the archive, is a simple eye exercise. And all you do is this. Turning my head, but keeping my eyes here. Now what I'm looking to do is get my ear to replace where my nose is. You guys see that? My ear is here now. And if you want to make it even more powerful, smell as you turn your head. Keep your eyes here, forward. Swallow. And then blow a cool stream of air like you're blowing out a candle on your way back. This stimulates the vagus nerve. This gets your eyes out of this sort of ventral dorsal plane, right? It gets your eyes out of this being locked right here. Now you're using your peripheral vision, and all of that is literally giving your body data points to build a new concept of safety, an updated file around safety. Because here's what most people do when they experience life, right? And everyone has trauma, right? They experience life, something happens. Trauma emerges as a technology for survival, right? Someone screws you over. Now I have trauma with people that have long hair or smell like Palo Santo or do ecstatic dance or are polyamorous or are into big business or are Republican or Democrat or anything like that. I have now trauma with that. That trauma prevents me from feeling safe around those people. I go into alert. But people have trauma everywhere, right? And the thing about it is trauma is not something for you to heal. Trauma is technology for you to access, because if you can recognize what it is that your trauma is protecting you from and gradually build up a tolerance to that thing, now the trauma no longer becomes an inhibitor or an adhesion or a thing that prevents you from doing it. It becomes wisdom, it becomes awareness on how to do something safely. And again, most of the time when you take your eyes off the prize, you lose the prize. But if you start to train your eyes to be able to see in the peripherals, right? And this is really challenging for a lot of people, especially if you go slow. Smelling, swallowing with your head turned is very challenging for a lot of people. And that's not, that's not an accident. That's not something random. That's literally your body's inability or ability to access different states, right? Like everyone wants to learn astral projection or past life stuff, but no one wants to learn how to achieve spontaneous focus or peripheral awareness. No one wants to widen their necks. Not no one. I think everyone does, but anyway. Really enjoyed your videos the past week. Thanks for what you're doing. You're very welcome. You did that yesterday on your own. Let's go. Yeah, so and again guys, this everything that I'm going to be talking about tonight, if you're curious and you want to experience some classes for yourself, I encourage you, come check out our community. Me and my best friend Pasha, who's also my teacher, are doing something that I think is kind of radical. We're taking human design and we are showing people sensory training and biomechanics training that help them to embody their human design. So actually physically how to strengthen your aura by working with the senses and by working with the fascia and by working with your physical body in addition to your energy. Tips on burnout and mental exhaustion. Yeah, so one thing about burnout that a lot of people don't really get is, right, your body has these internal signals that are like, hey, stop, you're getting tired, you're running out of energy, this person is not honoring you. And a lot of the times those signals are subtle. The volume is lower on those signals, or the signal is right over here rather than right here. Okay? And so one of the things that a lot of people with burnout suffer from, like I was mentioning earlier, is they don't have the ability to use the peripheral awareness. Meaning, you can look at the phone, and you're probably looking at the phone right now, or you're cooking, or whatever you're doing. You're focused on something. Don't unfocus from that thing. But I want you also to see all the things around the thing that you're focusing on. Do that. That puts you in a different state. And when you can access that state more regularly, more reflexively, burnout stops becoming a thing, because you start to acknowledge what's going on inside your body. This is the very cool thing about peripheral awareness, right? Is peripheral awareness, proprioception, the ability to like know where the desk is, where my table is, my headphones, etc., where the ceiling is. Like I know where all this stuff is. When you train that at the same time as, okay, now my ribs are expanding, now my shoulders are displacing, something incredible happens, which is your body starts to do most of your thinking for you. It's really cool. And it's like I'm giving you sort of the cliff notes. Like I said, come check out our community, the archive. It's a school community, 7-day free trial. Literally come check it out. You've got nothing to lose except all of the preconceived notions and self-limiting beliefs. If you guys are enjoying this, by the way, do me a favor, share the live. I'm not going to be live much longer because I've already done half of my hair, and I'm only going to do this for as long as I actually have to brush my hair. But when it comes to burnout and all of that stuff, again, also dealing with pressure, like here, another thing about burnout, right? Most of the time when you're ignoring those signals, I have energy, I don't have energy, a lot of the times you are simultaneously adhering to pressure, right? Your friends want you to do something, your boss wants you to do something, the government wants you to do something. There's some kind of pressure, which there may be real danger there. If you don't do this, you get your hands chopped off, right? There might be actual danger there. If you don't do this, you're going to lose something. There might be there will probably be consequences there. But the greater consequence of always just doing what the external pressure wants you to do, to never have the ability to go, no, I'm not going to do that. There's a greater consequence in that. So, with that being said, but some of us naturally built left-sided, they still can unfocus. So this is just generally the problem that people have. They're stuck in focus, right? And whenever they're relaxing, they're actually not relaxing. They're watching TV, they're on their phone. Some people literally do not have the ability to focus because they haven't trained that, or they've been how you say, adverse to focus, and they've found people to validate that for them. Yes, Yaziland, we definitely, I have a whole course in the archive about the basics of human design. So if you don't know human design and you want to learn human design, you can do that in our community as well. We just tend not to focus on the energetics so much because you can't really do much with the mental of human design if you don't have the physical body to be able to use things like your strategy and authority when it comes time. Like I was saying, the pressure from the external world, focus. Don't focus, relax, you're doing great. Actually, you're not doing great, you need to speed up. There's all of this noise, right? And you have to be able to contextualize what's happening inside your body and what's happening outside of your body. Your mind can't do all of that. Not, at least not your brain, right? Your mind, through by way of the brainstem, accesses a nervous system, right? As a means of allowing the body to help it think. Like a lot of people see the mind, especially the prefrontal cortex, where all the cognitive personality stuff is. A lot of people see that as a portal to spiritual worlds. And it's not that it's not, it is. But the liver is also. The kidneys are also. The physical heart is also. And so it's really important, for instance, like most people have never felt their heart outside of putting their hand on the chest and feeling the beating, right? Like something that you can do is you can take your arms, you can lock them into your side, you can squeeze yourself with your arms, and when you take a breath, don't let your ribs expand. Let your lungs put pressure on your heart. Feel your heart beating by way of putting pressure on your heart using your lungs. So your heart is right here, your lungs are right here. Breathe in, don't let your ribs expand, squeeze your heart with your lungs. See what happens. This is an amazing way to think about the brain and the body. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this is something, this is a way of seeing the world. A lot of what I'm sharing is a way of seeing the world that my best friend and one of my greatest teachers, Pasha, shared with me. He's the main instructor within the archive, which is the community that I'm talking about. He has fixed people's scoliosis. He has gotten people out of wheelchairs. He has healed from ACL injuries, meniscus injuries himself, broken foot. Like, he has done the most insane things as a human being. Yes. Why would a person tell me I'm going to be a lung donor? I don't know. Who is that's funny. Do you have good lungs? Aaliyah, hello. So many people manipulating. Yeah, there's so many people manipulating out there. And here's the thing, is if somebody has to put other people down, right, in order to feel important or feel valid in the world, to me, that person has very weak values and a limited perspective of the world. And by weak values, I mean like it hasn't matured enough. Like if you have a tree that's a sapling, right? It needs to be watered, it needs to be tended to. It's not a mature tree. It can't handle drought, it can't handle storms. You have to protect it. It's like that's like a child. And most grown adults do not have the nervous systems of adults. They have the nervous systems of children. They're very easily offended, right? They're very easily manipulated. They very easily manipulate other people and claim that, oh, my God told me to do that, or oh, this is what the science says, or blah blah blah, because they're attempting to make sense of something that was never meant to be entirely understood from a logical perspective, right? Like there's people that are dissecting the biceps, there's people that are dissecting functional movement, and they're not talking about emotion, they're not talking about mental states. If in 10-15 years they probably will start to do that, because our technology has gotten better. But what have we done? We've increased computing power, right? With AI, it can just think and rule out impossibilities faster. We've gotten better cameras, which our eyes are still some of the best cameras on the planet. We've gotten better at sensing the natural world with cameras and microphones. But we have this shit built in, guys. This is what I'm saying. You have all this stuff built in. I have 4 herniated discs. Doctor says I need surgery. Is this something your teacher could help improve? Yeah, probably. Probably. Like with something like that, like he has literally helped people with all kinds of spinal issues. I don't want to say avoid surgery, but they didn't have to get surgery after working with him. Guys, you might have heard of some like medical miracles, right? Everyone's heard of someone that's like, oh, cured cancer or something like that. The body is so unique. The body knows exactly what it needs to be doing in order to heal itself. Most of the time. The only thing stopping the body from healing itself is other people's opinions on how crazy it looks. Yes, this is my hair brushing time. Yeah. I do believe in mind over matter in some situations. Yeah, so this is about getting your mind and your matter to sync up. Right? This is literally about getting your mind and your body to be operating rather than in versus each other, in conflict, in contrast. Right? Because it's like the mind and the senses will tell you what's going on out here. That's visual stimulation, that's scent, smell, that's auditory information, and all of this is vibration. When it goes inside you, you breathe it in or you bring it in, your eyes tell your brain that there's an image or there's something going on here. Your body has a response to that. And that is where we want to train clear signal coming in, appropriate response. Like most people can see the world clearly, but their response to it, because of unresolved trauma or because of a hyperfixation on healing themselves, they don't have an appropriate response. They see danger whenever fear is there. Whenever fear is there, they see danger, which is inappropriate. Because fear doesn't always mean danger, especially for people with undefined solar plexus or undefined spleen or undefined ajna. Sometimes when you feel fear, it doesn't mean that there's danger. It means that other people feel like they're in danger, that you're around. And this is where human design kind of gets really freaking awesome. Because for the longest time, I never knew why I would feel afraid around certain people, even though like there's nothing dangerous going on. Then I found out I had an undefined spleen, which is literally the center for survival. It uses fear to alert us to danger so that we can survive, right? The spleen as an organ scans the blood. Anything foreign in there, it deploys the white blood cells. It's literally your immune system. It's the thing that keeps you alive. And for a lot of people, again, they don't have the ability to perceive something, respond to it in a manner that's appropriate with what they're seeing. Right? There's this filter that is it's like glass. Like have you ever worn somebody else's glasses and it's like, wow, I can't see. Because it's a prescription for somebody else. Oh, brother. You are. I forgot how weird TikTok is, man. Oh my gosh. Block. Later, buddy. I want to learn Reiki from you. So I learned Reiki from Reiki. I learned Reiki from the experience. In our community, I have it's only an hour long class, but it will teach you how to build a relationship with Reiki, with literally the healing force that animates all of us and guides all of us. I encourage you to come check it out. You can literally use your 7-day free trial, learn Reiki from me, and then if you don't find any value in the rest of the community, you can leave. But you'll still have the Reiki. Like, here's the thing. Everybody inherently knows how to use Reiki already. You're just not aware that you're using it. When your head hurts or your stomach hurts and you put your hands on your head or your throat, or when someone is feeling defeated and you put your hands on them or you hug them and you hold them, that's Reiki. Reiki literally means universal life force energy, and it's about removing the blockages that prevent us from channeling divine source energy, which to a degree all of us are channeling this energy. It's the reason we're alive. I love the animal sounds coming. Oh yeah, they're the Koki frogs. Yeah. How do you see energy? Well, again, with your eyes. You can see energy with your eyes, but that's limiting in the sense that you might see something and make your mind out about something. That's bad. That's scary. That's not good. Like a lot of guardian angels, most people would consider them demons. They would visually see them and they'd be like, oh, that's a demon. And it's like, no, that's actually one of your guardian angels. Well, why is it scary? Because it scares off all the bad shit, dude. Like, so your goal should not be to see energy. Your goal really ought to be perceiving energy, right? Because even that word, that language, seeing, I'm visually seeing, I'm looking at something, I'm looking for something. Oftentimes the thing you're looking for eludes you, and you can see this for yourself. If you anytime you go outside at night and the stars are visible, if you look up at the stars, right, and you focus on one area, that area starts to go dark. It's a little trick of the eyes, my friend. Trick of the eyes. Yeah, learning how to perceive energy though, the first thing you want to do, and this is what I talk about in my Reiki video in the archive in our community. Come check it out. The first thing you have to learn how to do is perceive your own energy. Perceive when you're getting angry. Perceive when you're being judgmental. Perceive when you feel safe. Perceive when you're actually relaxing. Like most people, guarantee half the people on this call right now, and if you feel called out, good. Half the people on this call right now confuse boredom and peace. Right? They start to feel peaceful, and then their mind turns on and says, you shouldn't be bored right now. You're bored. Why are you bored? Boredom is the devil's workshop. Or you could be productive right now. And then you wonder why you don't feel peace. What if I'm always overwhelmed? Yeah, we could change, guys. We can shift all of that. Like I do not care what is going on with you or what other people have told you that your overwhelm means or any of that stuff. Come spend 28 days. Come spend a month with us in our community. It'll literally cost you $3. If you really are like strapped for cash and you want to see how this goes, it's a 7-day free trial, and then for $3 you can give this a test drive and see if you want to go to the premium. But literally $3. Do the exercises, do the class every day. There's 2 classes that you'll have access to that if you do that every day for 28 days, for a month, for the length of your $3, you won't like get there, but you'll be able to see like, oh, that's where we can get to. It's a long journey, but when you get to the top of the first mountain, and it only takes a few weeks, but you have to practice it. Like you have to be diligent. And then you can have hair like me. Yes, exactly. Actually, funny enough, my buddy Pasha, like he's shown me pictures of himself in the past, and actually when I first met him, he was kind of going bald. His hair was getting really thin, and Then he started doing some of these new kookier exercises that I'm going on about right now. And his hair is thick like a horse now. So it literally actually makes the blood flow in your scalp better. What does it mean to perceive? So perceiving, good question. I like these kinds of questions because we all have working definitions, right? Like discipline. A lot of people think discipline is about, you know, doing the hard thing. One of my teachers told me, he said, discipline is just being of service to the future version of yourself, which totally changes the concept of discipline for me. Perception, to me, is about clarity. It's about being able to see what's actually going on, including my own coloring and flavoring of the situation. Right? So for instance, like someone might come in here and they might start attention grabbing, right? They might start to say things as a means of throwing me off balance. And it might throw me off balance because they might hit a nerve, because I'm human. There's things people could say that would throw me off balance. Perception and having clarity of perception is being able to recognize that, hey, that person might be going through something and they're projecting it onto me. Even deeper layer of perception is, okay, well, if they're going through something and they're projecting it onto me, how much capacity do I have to bear their projection? Right? Like we're all in this, like, no man is an island, no woman's an island. We're all experiencing life together, and it's important to help people. But if you allow other people to drag you down, how are you going to help people if you can't help yourself? So important. Intuition, perception, present mind is part of the work or the work. Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the work. My debit card should be here tomorrow. Bring it on. Let's go. Do you have any suggestions how to be more mindful of your emotions? I find that I'm aware from the moment, but in the actual moment, I tend to be very reactive to the first emotion I feel. So that's part of it. Like, this is very important to recognize. Is if you feel like your emotions are out of control, they've probably always been out of control, but now that you're aware of it, one of the first things that you're going to be like is, oh my God, what's wrong with me? That's like one of the first phases. There's a story in the Bible, right, where Moses frees the Israelites from Egypt. And I get this might be a sensitive subject for someone, but slaves are freed from servitude, and they're promised a promised land. But that's not where they go right after being freed. They go into the desert. They get really upset. They start to perceive that, like, oh, you know what? Maybe slavery was better because at least someone was feeding us. At least we had, predictable situations. We don't know if something's going to happen to us. Like, we don't know anything. We're just running on blind faith. And so when it comes to your emotions, right, when you start asking to yourself to become more emotionally aware, that is the first place that you go, is you get to see your lack of awareness and your lack of regulation. Now, what I will say is, if you are serious about learning how to regulate your emotions, awareness is not enough. Or eventually your awareness will bring you to a point where you have to ask yourself, okay, how am I going to handle this energy? Right? So one of the best ways I have learned to handle emotional energy is to build a resilience to pressure and heat. Pressure, baroreceptors in the body. Heat, thermoreceptors in the body. Your best friend, if you have issues with your emotions, is a 100 to 150 pound sandbag that you spend 20 to 30 minutes under, and you induce cortisol spikes. You induce panic. You induce the feeling of being suffocated in a safe container. So that way, when life induces, you're not a stranger to high heat, high pressure. You're not a stranger to elevated emotions. You're not a stranger to something external bearing down on you. Again, we teach this in the archive. This is like a little microcosm of it. And it's not any physical activity. Like you can go work on your biceps, you know what I mean? That's physical activity. You could go dance, but dance with a bunch of dysfunctions and still mess yourself up. The thing about this kind of stuff is that these are like the problems that babies have to deal with. You know what I mean? Like babies have to deal with the concept of choking because they don't know how to use their throat yet. Every time they drink milk, they're not just getting milk, they're also getting the mother's emotional state. And so we inherit our nervous systems and our ways of dealing with stress. We're conditioned by our parents. And because this is not taught in any kind of education, most of the time we just blindly accept it. That's why people who really hate their parents or really have a terrible relationship with their parents, I don't want to be like my dad. They end up just like their dad or they end up just like their mom. It's not it's because it's deeply conditioned. It's like in the bones, it's in the nervous system. And the only way to rewire that is intentional. Right? So and this is the thing. I'm not against movement. I'm just for very intentional training. Right? There's a lot of exploration to be had in this realm. It's just important to like know the basics. Right? Like there's plenty of people who are very well trained in breath work, but their sense of smell is ass. You know, like they can't smell themselves when they're lying. They can't smell they can't they can't they don't smell. Right? You know the trigger that the physical actually makes sense on an instinctual level. Repetitive actions like shaking your legs and compressions remind us that the safest place we've ever been is our mother's womb. Yeah, exactly. And again, most people confuse boredom with peace and peace with boredom. A lot of people confuse compression with being crushed rather than being hugged and cradled. And Leary, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. My emotion is based off my workouts. I love my working out, so I do it all the time. Right. And again, working out is great. Movement is great. If you learn the stuff that me and my partner teach in our community, my friend, your workouts will go to another level. I'm telling you. Like you can do bicep curls with your hamstrings. Like, did you know that? You can make your hamstrings longer. You can make your calves grow into your knee. You can get your bicep to grow into your elbow. I'm talking crazy stuff, guys. Where do you stand on drinking alcohol along with the work? I mean, why? I don't know. You know, like, same thing with smoking weed. It's like, if it works for you, it works for you. But, you know, how do I say this? I feel like for the people that do smoke or drink and they're doing the work, as someone who I didn't really get into drinking, but I definitely did get in a lot of the puffing. And eventually I was just like, hi, why am I doing this? It's like, it's not actually helpful. And it's like, at one point it might be helpful. And then eventually it's not. It's a medicine, but if you're not sick, why are you taking the medicine? That's the way I see it. Alcohol especially is very dangerous because it's so socially acceptable and there's so much sexual and social gratification that comes from alcohol. Oh, it just makes me more confident. It's like, well, great. Do you want to have to drink alcohol to get confident? Like, it's meant to extract spirits from stuff. Anyway. What if you're always caring and focused on others but procrastinate on yourself and things that you gotta do? Ah, my friend, I would say come join our community and do some sensory design, my friend. One of the most important things that you can do for yourself is take care of your body, right? Someone who's 6 months sober, I couldn't even start with how getting sober. Work like this makes staying sober easier. Yeah, and again, it's like anytime there's a reliance on external substances, especially alcohol, or medications and things like that. Again, for some people, medication is necessary to start the journey. But yeah, when it comes to alcohol, there's a certain threshold, and same thing with weed. There's a certain threshold that you can't really get beyond if you decide to stay tethered to that. Yeah. Sobriety is the baseline for human consciousness. So. Yeah, and like here's the thing: whatever it is that is keeping you tethered to that thing, until you cultivate something, a wholeness within yourself where you don't need the thing. Like I can go into a club and be around people that are drinking. I'm not going to feel tempted to drink because I know how it makes me feel. A lot of the times people don't drink because it makes them feel good. They drink because it makes them less aware of how they actually feel. Asheville, what's up? Long-time viewers, dude. So the last time that I was live was probably in January, and I haven't been live since July of last year regularly, and I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back. I have a question. If I quit weed when I did, as I'm replacing that with alcohol, how bad or much worse is it? It's just the same thing. It's like dating one person. T1 Nat. It's like dating one person that has, maybe they're super controlling, and then you date another person and they're the opposite. They're not controlling at all. They let you do whatever. They actually encourage you to do whatever you want, right? But both of them are not necessarily empowering you to do the thing that's best for you, or encouraging you, or giving you space to do that. So yeah, like trading one thing for another, it might be progress, but in what direction, right? And again, that's not for me to say like that's a bad thing. Like that genuinely might be a healthy thing for you on your journey. What I'm saying is that until you develop the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the nose to smell, the mouth to taste, the hands to hold, until you can actually perceive what's going on with yourself, you're always going to ask people like me, is this good, is this bad? That's why our whole training is designed to give you a sense of what's going on inside your body, and then connect that to behavior. So like we're looking at the human design body graph, right? Human design. And we're asking ourselves what physical movements are associated, what nervous system is associated, what sensory systems are associated, what behaviors are associated. How does that all tie in to what it is that I actually have to do to become more aware, more empowered, more competent, more capable, more dimensional? And oftentimes, what this work comes down to is learning how to saturate a body part. Learning how to take up space and do it in a relaxed way. Right? Like some of y'all might be like, oh wow, there's so much healing energy coming from his hand. Why is that? Because my hand is relaxed, but it's literally heating up. Like if you touch my hand, it would be hot. And the reason is because I'm sending blood into my hand. Right? And if channels in my wrists, channels in my elbows, channels in my shoulder are not connected, well then there's limitations there. Anyway, appreciate the respect. These ideas, none of these ideas are my own. I'll say that. All glory to the teacher. I learned a lot of this from my best friend Pasha. Before that, I was learning from a teacher, Samuel Sagan. I learned Reiki from a teacher, Marissa Morris. I inherited all of my trauma and technology from my parents and all the people that, were around me. I'm a reflector, guys. I'm nothing about me is original. And a lot of people, I've gone through a lot of processes around, well, what's my value if nothing about me is really original? And even that is just words that Ra said. But what I'm coming to realize is that even though nothing about me or my ideas are necessarily my own, doesn't mean that I can't put them together in ways that the people who originally had those ideas could never do. And this is the beauty of it. It's like, regardless of how effed up you may think you are or other people have convinced you that you are holding something so incredibly unique. And I'm not saying you need to bring it online because people will pay you for it. I'm saying that if you stop fighting yourself and you learn how to tolerate yourself, like in a good way, right? If you learn how to tolerate yourself, you can begin to put effort into life, and wherever you want to go, inherently, wherever you're drawn to, That way will open up for you like it has never opened up for you before, simply because you start practicing eye drills with me and you start practicing smelling and swallowing. It's really that simple. We built an entire community around it, guys. We have 5,000 people right now in our community that are doing this. And there's literally people that are like, I've been looking for this my entire life. And it's because it's the no BS route to spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening by way of the body, through the physical form. It's what human design has been putting on us. It's what yoga is all about. Yoga in the West, though, is definitely not what the original kind of yoga. I'm in Hawaii, my friend. So those are the koki frogs, the invasive koki frogs. Which I used to really not like these koki frogs. They used to be so loud to me. This is actually a great example. These koki frogs used to be so loud to me. And in some valleys they're louder. But now it's like white noise. Right? I don't really notice it anymore. It doesn't interrupt. My consciousness has integrated and normalized that. So, one of the things that I like to invite people to normalize is using peripheral vision. Instead of just breathing, smell, swallow. Guaranteed. You don't have to spend any money at all. Just for tomorrow or the rest of the evening or daytime, depending on where you're viewing from. Every time you smell, see how it is? Every time you inhale, notice the smell. And when you're done smelling, swallow. And instead of just dumping the air out, like blow a cool stream of air, or like compress the air a little bit. Like, don't let it all go. Like if it's your last breath, and that's like you want to hold on to that mana and extract as much as you can from the smell and the swallow. That's the real breath work. I rely so much on my peripheral vision. Hell yeah. Like the ability to go back and forth between peripheral and focused. That's the ability that zebras have. And it's the reason why zebras don't have chronic illness. Is because they can be getting chased by a lion for 10 minutes. And then after the lion, eats one of their friends, they like shake it off. And then 10 minutes later, they're ready to eat food. They're like, oh shit, I'm going to be dinner. And then 10 minutes later, they're like, all right, and what's for dinner? That's variability. And that is sort of one of the metrics. And yeah, I'm in Hawaii. Peripheral vision is so underrated. Get your 6 hours of sleep, my friend. I'll see you in the community tomorrow when your debit card arrives. Rapunzel. Love it. All right, guys. Well, my hair is pretty much brushed, which means this live is going to be over soon. And it's been wonderful. Majestic boy. Yes. Can you enlighten me more on peripheral vision? So I could talk about it all day. But one of the best things to do is to practice peripheral vision, right? And so literally just like look into the top right corner of your vision, smell, swallow, blow a cool stream of air, and become as aware as you can of all the sensations. Become aware of the strain in your eyes. Become aware of the smells. Become aware of the swallow. Become aware of the taste of your cool stream of air. And that's your teacher. I could talk your head off about the revelations that I've had in this space. It would not even scratch the surface of how good this is to just practice on a regular basis. I will talk about this a lot. I do talk about this a lot, but like, guys, this is where the magic actually is. Feel the dizziness, feel the like, whoa, this is kind of making me sick. You feel all of that. And what you do is you soothe yourself, which if you take the back of your fingers and you just like kind of like brush it on your neck like this, This is one of the best soothing mechanisms ever, right? Or even just like taking your hand down the side of your face or on the tops of your head like that. That's what I have to say about that. And it's again, it's quite literally getting into the peripheral vision. Like if you really want to experience an excruciating amount of peace, and by excruciating I mean like it's genuinely uncomfortable how little you care about what's going on. Mind you, you will require 20 minutes of like actual peaceful setting. In nature is the best, but it will work in the city. But if you just spend 5 minutes up there, 5 minutes up there, 5 minutes going back and forth like this, and then another 5 minutes up in the center, and you just do that for 20 minutes total, you will experience, generally, if you actually do it, you will experience an unsettling amount of peace. And I say this because I've done this on several occasions and it was like too much. Making decisions after doing that for at least the 2 or 3 hours after doing that is like, fuck if I don't know. Can't do that. Can't text. I can't do nothing. I don't know what I want to do. It's an unsettling amount of peace. But build yourself up to it. You know, do 2 minutes up there, 2 minutes up there, 2 minutes in front and center, right? Up and center. Do your best not to raise your eyebrows. Like, get just your eyes. You can even take your fingers way down your eyebrows like this. Like, I want my eyes to move independently of my head. I want to be able to move my head around and not have to think, oh, what position should my shoulders be in? Which should I be in, an in-breath or an out-breath? Like that's, I see a lot of functional training people do that, right? They're like, oh, your shoulders should be this, but I'm like, dude, if you can't smell where your shoulders are, yes, you're allowed to blink. Good question. If I said no, what would you do? Oh, I guess this isn't for me. No, you're definitely allowed to blink. But I see a lot of functional training guys, and I love them, but it's just so, don't do this, do this. This is the right way to do it. It's like, dude, have you ever seen a dancer do things that are functionally like impossible? Yes, I've seen dancers do a lot of really crazy things. And the whole point of that, right, is to illustrate how important the fundamentals, like being able to lose yourself in a dance, right, and trust that like you'll be safe. And by trust, I mean, like, for instance, let's say you're dancing barefoot or you're walking barefoot. For those of you that are not walking barefoot, I encourage you, please, just like experiment with walking barefoot on dirt or grass or even cement, whatever. Experience walking barefoot, because it's not necessarily about the grounding that you get, like the energy or the negative ions from the floor. It's literally about the contact that your foot makes with the surfaces that you're on. The foot has all of these different spindle fibers, right? Different sensors, same way as your hand. Like if you take your hand, go like this, take your other hand, go like this, right? When your foot touches the ground and there's a rock here, inherently, meaning you don't have to be taught this, inherently, your body knows when that point gets pushed, this is the movement we need to do because we're gonna fall, or this is the movement we need to do, wow, right? In order not to twist an ankle, in order not to twist a hip or mess up your knee. Your body's ability to be reflexive, like choking, throwing up, is a reflex, right? But you can train yourself out of a reflex. Some people don't have a gag reflex anymore because they've trained themselves to feel safe, knowing that I'm not choking to die, I'm choking because I'm not gonna go there. I'm trying to retrain my ankle from a bad twist. Okay, so what you're really looking to do is get something that's very far away from your body, from your core, to reintegrate into your core, right? We all have a center, right? Midline, right? From hole to hole, right? That's the midline, okay? What you wanna do is you wanna get your ankle to reconnect to your butthole, to reconnect to your mouth hole. That's your healing path is not just your ankle, it's that entire channel. It's the channel from your right ankle to your left wrist. That's the mechanical channel. The sensory channel goes from your right ankle to your right wrist, meaning these things are feeling it. They're feeling together. Man, I really need to stop brushing my hair at night. I just get way too out there. Guys, I'm going to end the live soon. I know I keep saying that, but I'm actually going to end the live soon here. If you're enjoying this, please come check out our community. It's linked in all of my socials. It's called The Archive, and it is literally like me and my best friend's life work. Like we put our entire life's work into building a community of people that are like really just overwhelmed, exhausted, anxious, depressed, excited, inspired, on fire, on purpose. Like, it does not matter where you are. If you have a body and you are ready to learn how to use it, not because we're teaching you how to use it, but because you are genuinely willing to learn how your body functions through experience. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to have a meditation practice. You don't have to know anything about human design. You don't even have to be able to walk, right? If you can start with like moving your neck or moving your eyes, we can make some really, really cool progress. I will answer this one question, my majestic boy, because it's such a good question. Can you talk about how breathwork is related to manifestation? So, when it comes to manifesting, right? Like manifesting, oftentimes people perceive it as like getting something, like I manifested abundance or I manifested a partner. Manifesting is equal receiving as it is giving. Breath work is an inhale and an exhale. The primary connection between breath work and manifestation is acknowledging the sensation of bringing something into your body, whether it's food, information, visuals, auditory information, smells, being able to sense that coming into the body, as well as the response. Seeing something, throwing up. Seeing something, going, ooh. Seeing something, feeling, ooh, but then saying, no, thank you. Because you're seeing something else that says, if you say, ooh, there's going to be a consequence, right? So when it comes to breath work, that is just the simplest and most necessary element of survival. It's the sensation of bringing life into your body and then giving life to other things, right? Like plenty of people are fighting things that they wish would disappear, but in the fighting of them, they're not building the thing that would make that obsolete, that would actually make that disappear. This is why I'm not a huge fan of activism. Because to me, if you took all the people that were protesting and you actually put them in communities around values that are actually that are the values that they say they value, if you put them in communities and you put them to work in that, the thing that they would be protesting wouldn't be relevant. You wouldn't need to create safe spaces in any areas. You wouldn't need to create anything. You wouldn't need to destroy or dismantle anything, because the energy you'd be putting into the thing, it would just make all of that obsolete. And I just genuinely believe like there's some people that are designed to be here to stand up and say, no, I'm just not one of those people. I'm more like, yes. Like I'm going to focus on what I actually want. And so when it comes to breathwork and manifestation, what I would say is that learn how to connect with the smelling, the swallowing, and the sensation of the exhale. Focus more on gathering sensory information than the techniques that you're using, because the sensory information will be more helpful to your body Whereas the breathing techniques will generally be more helpful to whoever it is that you're paying. I knew this is so funny because people seem like babies not knowing how to act. Yeah, and like literally that is, I don't want to say that's the problem. It's a beautiful thing that's going on, right? Everyone is realizing, or a lot of people are realizing, oh my God, I have the nervous system of a child. And some people are saying, okay, well, I'm going to mature my nervous system. And other people are saying, well, you come down to my level and fight me at the level of a child. And other people are who do have the nervous systems of adults will sometimes resort to becoming children again. Anyway, focus on the sensory. I mean, focus on the sensory. Like smell, swallow, blow a cool stream of air. That's your guys' breath work practice for the rest of the night. Like if you want to train, if you want to get better at manifestation, become more aware of how the room smells. Like did you guys realize that if you smell something 5 times in a row, by the 5th smell, it smells different? Like for real, I'm gonna smell something. This is menthol and camphor, and this is great, by the way. It's like a Thai inhaler. If you go online and you look up Thai inhaler and you look for this green rooster, smell it once, it smells like something. Exhale, smell again, swallow, blow out the candle. Each time you smell the same thing, there's more and more and more sensory information. And that sensory information, when you spend, again, when you put not more emphasis, but most people are imbalanced, right? When you put an equal amount, see how much calmer I am after Oh, Ethan, I don't trust you, my friend. That seems like a scam. Oh, I don't like that. How to manifest a good life of higher purpose. Smell. Like, again, if you have to ask somebody else that question, whatever answer they're going to give you, if it's not, you know how to do this. Like, I'm not here to decide what your higher purpose is or whether or not that is a higher purpose, right? It's very important that these kinds of answers come from within you, because I can point you in the right direction. I can give you techniques to strengthen your conviction in what your higher purpose is. And it literally starts with like smelling, swallowing, blowing cool streams of air, listening to allowing your body to respond to the things that come into your body or come around your body, and then doing eye drills. Like, that's where it starts. I have a whole community around this, guys. Everything I'm sharing with you is like 0.4% of what the community actually has to offer and what the curriculum has to offer. So please come check that out. I just love this stuff too much, guys. Let me check in with myself. Yeah, let's keep going. At least one more question. How sacred calibrations work for narcissists, including reflectors like us. Are you calling yourself a narcissist? It's a very advanced narcissist thing to do. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I'm just making fun. Just tied it with my mushroom coffee. It's so cool. Yeah. Like, every time you swallow, guys, there's a little click that happens in your ears, right? Every time you swallow, there's a little click. And if you weren't aware of it, now you're aware of it. And if you ever feel like you're not being present in life and you want to be present again, swallow and feel that click. It's like literally swallowing reality. Everything you see, smell, and taste. I typed non-sacrals. Did I read narcissists? I totally read narcissists. What a narcissistic thing of me to do. Non-sacrals, you totally did. See how the mind works, guys? It's tricky after I had checked in with myself, being all spiritual and stuff like that. I guess maybe I'm supposed to. Non-sacrals. Let me go read the question again. Ah, okay. That's a good question to end on. So you're asking about how the sacral calibrations, the ahas and ahas, work for non-sacral beings. Dude, that's so funny. Oh, I love that I have that recorded. So, for context, this will actually be the last question because the fact that I misread that is too funny and probably a sign that my hair is brushed and it's time to do something else. So, for clarity purposes, where's my book? This is the sacral center in human design. This is where sexual creative life force is generated. And we perceive it primarily on the spectrum of aha and of yum and yuck. And there's everything in between and the extremes of like woohoo and literally throwing up. When you put stuff in your mouth and it goes down into your guts will have a response. When your gut is hungry and there's nothing in it and it starts to eat itself, it has a response. When you taste something and you can't even swallow it because it's so yuck, okay, that is the sacral response. I do these exercises. If you haven't seen my page or any of my videos, I post one of these every day where I ask questions. I say things like, are you sitting down? Are you standing up? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you horny? Are you an intellectual? Are you happy with your life? Do you feel good in your body? Do you feel safe? Is it nighttime? I go fast because I don't want you to think about this. I just want you to go, Non-sacral beings, generally speaking, have a very, very subtle response and at times no response to these questions that I ask. This is 30% of the population. If you don't know what your human design is, by the way, go to my website, check it out. Generate your body graph, it's free. I have reports that you can buy, which are not free, but it'll demystify everything for you. It's a lot of information, so don't expect to get it right away, but this will change your life. When it comes to the other 70%, generators and manifesting generators, there's a response. There's like, right? That most of the population has trained to suppress, right? And sometimes people think it's a blocked throat chakra, which it is, but that's because the sacral response is being suppressed itself. So it's not actually coming through the throat chakra. That's why the throat chakra it's not blocked, it's just like underutilized. Most of the time it's a sacral dysfunction, not necessarily a throat dysfunction, which most quote unquote diseases are actually primarily about the gut and digestion, because that's the fuel that we run on. Anyway, I digress. For the non-sacral beings, it's so important to normalize not having a response. And this is something that I don't talk about, right? Often enough, maybe. But if you're a non-sacral being and you're doing the sacral calibrations and you're not feeling the like, oh, that was confusing, and like normalizing that, like I don't have, but you're still putting effort into it, like you're doing it right. And the reason I say this is because I'm a reflector, right? So I have a non-sacral. I'm part of that 30% that if you ask me a direct yes or no question, a lot of the times I'm going to be like, oh, well, what do you want to do? Or if you're like, like you're really excited and jazzed about it, you want me to be excited and jazzed about it, I'm jazzed and excited about it. The difference is that I'm aware of that. I'm aware that like, oh, you're hyped up. I'm hyped up too. And so I don't make decisions based off of that. But I can still use that energy. Does that make sense? I have no sacral responses as a reflector. I'm surrounded by generator types that are very in tune with their responses, though. I've always taken my subtle responses to be in line with my environment. Correct. Yeah. So it's like you're tracking that your sacral responses are in line with your environment, but you do. This is where I'm saying is, you do have a sacral response. It's just not a point of authority. And this is where traditional human design analysts might disagree with me. They might say you don't have a you don't have a sacral response. I'd be like, the fuck you do? If I put dirt in your mouth, you're gonna throw it up. You know what I mean? Like I'm Ross said a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is really accurate. But just like for real, we have sacral responses. Otherwise, you would be asexual. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taste buds. Like it's not that you don't have a sacral response. It's that your sacral response is heavily conditioned by your environment. And what I'm saying, and the reason why reflectors, their strategy is to like be alone for 28 days or spend 28 days making a decision, is because if you don't give yourself enough time to cycle through all of these different sacral responses that are around you and let people make decisions without you gassing them up or trying to save them from themselves, you will get roped into some bullshit. I would say if you have not spent 28 days by yourself as a reflector, that's also something I would really suggest. I would suggest that for anyone actually, but especially a reflector. If you don't know what it feels like after 28 days to have no human contact and the excitement of like, oh my God, this is the first person I'm talking to after an entire lunar cycle. Like I've done this multiple times in my life. And I'm so excited to like talk to somebody else. Like I remember coming off the mountain and I was like gonna go see my auntie, and my auntie wasn't there and my cousin was there, and we don't really talk, but I was just so excited to hear him and feel a sacral response. And so one of the reasons why I'm talking about this as well is because like, right, as a reflector, there's a lot of stuff that other people are going to put on you. Generators are going to say this about you, manifestors are going to say this, analysts are going to say this. Dog, fuck them all. Fuck them all. Listen to the other reflectors, okay, that aren't actually insane, because a lot of reflectors are insane. And it's not necessarily sensory deprivation, although that is a cool practice. Meditation is effectively a sensory deprivation tank, right? Cutting myself off from my primary visual. Also, when I meditate, I don't use music or any kind of smells. I do my best to just like literally get the mind back to its natural state instead of being centrifugal, going outward from the center. It's centripetal. It just inverts on itself. Yeah, man, a lot of reflectors are like not doing well. Wait, I like that suggestion, but I'm living in Manila, most densely populated city in the world. That might be hard, but I should try and find a space for that. Dude, like, go camping for a couple weeks, And here's the thing I would say too. Don't neglect or don't underestimate the power of like one night by yourself. A lot of us are insane, yeah. Agree. And you guys also have no idea how insane I am, except for the fact that I'm raising children and that I have a lot of people that know me and can vouch for me. I like sowing doubt in the minds of my followers. Like, am I actually insane? Is my nervous system actually regulated? Or am I just like the greatest con man ever? You guys don't know. You know me long enough, and you might be like, God, you're hilarious, Marco. Or like, dude, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Why are you undercutting yourself? Bro, shut up. I said I was going to end this live after that question. I'm going to end it now. Guys, this was awesome. If you still have more questions, feel free to follow me. I've apparently gone viral and I'm kind of like famous online now, which is really weird. So as much as I really want to respond to a lot of the comments and stuff like that, there's just so much of them. The best way to get your questions answered is to either pay me for a one-on-one, which I do, or join my community, which is far more affordable than paying me for a one-on-one. And I would actually prefer, before you pay me for a one-on-one, join my community and just make sure that I'm not full of shit and that the stuff that I'm saying actually works. Okay, before you give me $500, give me $3, do the exercises for a month and just see for yourself. Okay, please be in the community, ask these questions, whether you pay me for a session or whether you join my community, at the end of the day, my message is always going to be, you already know. There's just a bunch of stuff around you, and you've gotten really good at convincing yourself that you don't know. And as much as you want me to be an authority in your life, I would much rather just be myself. So, anyway, with that being said, I love Jesus. Jesus is my homeboy. I'm not being sarcastic either. I love Jesus. Jesus' teachings, even though they've been fucked by the church, are still so fucking good. So good. I can't believe I got you that. Yes, my friends. This was awesome. Base Wonder, sorry, I'm just seeing your comment now. Like I said, guys, if you want your questions answered, come join my community. Make sure I'm not full of shit. And then once you see that I'm legit, pay me for a session. Although, hopefully you'll see like, oh man, Marco literally just made everything available for us in this community for an affordable price. I don't necessarily need to pay him for a session. Let me just work on myself, earn his respect by awakening my inner authority and living a dope ass life, giving all glory to the teacher, and then we'll be best friends. So many of the people that I love right now in our community have never paid me for sessions. They've just been in the community and they've been doing the work. And I will reach out to them and be like, hey, you're crushing it. Because I can see the physical transformations. Anyway, I love you, guy. Majestic boy, you got the good questions. Could I talk more about Jesus before leaving? Man. Yes and no. Like, Jesus was a heretic. Jesus was like, fuck those guys that are trying to tell you that, you know, God is in the temple. Your body is the temple. That was one of my favorite messages of Jesus, is he was a heretic. He was so like, dude, fuck all that organized religion bullshit. Your relationship with God. Brothers and sisters, yeah? I'm the son of God? Yeah? Okay. Follow the logic. You're the son of God. You're the daughter of God. Cool. Can we be chill now and take care of each other? Cool. Yeah. It's a really deep conversation, but that's what I will say about Jesus is, you know, again, his message has been super twisted, but if you're not building a relationship with God, if you're not building a relationship with the Christ inside yourself, and you're relying on somebody else's relationship, I think you're missing the point of Jesus. So, anyway, that little inner child got excited for a second. And it's like the message can get twisted, but our souls can decrypt it. That's the thing. Our souls can decrypt it. And the Lord is counting on our souls to be able to decrypt all of the manipulation. Again, we're not here to dismantle any patriarchy or government or anything. The only protection is the truth with a capital T. There is no your truth, her truth, his truth, their truth. There's none of that. There's people's opinions and experiences. And then there's the truth with a capital motherfucking T. Yes. All right, guys. I love you. I'll be going live more. So I'll catch you on another live, or I'll see you in the community. Deuces!